fellow collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at WKS-03 Wild Docking Set Nemesis Prime and Lavamulator? I don't really know what that name means. Lavamulator. I couldn't tell you. He's a bull, I believe. It is a brand new figure that is exclusive to this set with Nemesis Prime here. So very excited to check this out. I've had these for a little bit, kind of backed up on some stuff here, and it was stuck in HLJ jail for a little while, but finally got it. Very excited to check it out. Really nice, front of the box here. You kind of have Nemesis Prime looming here in the background, and then you have a nice shot of the figures here on the front. Up here, you have a shot of them combined together. Down here, your usual warnings and whatnot. Over here, just showing you the full contents of the box. And then over here on this side, showing how they can combine together and, of course, transform on their own. And then on the back, kind of more of the same. You have the robot mode and the animal mode for Lavamulator. And then you have the truck and robot modes over here for Nemesis Prime. And then, of course, how they are able to combine together. So let's go ahead. Let's get everything out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. So here are our two figures out of the packaging here. We have Lavamulator. I'm never going to get used to that name. And Nemesis Prime. We will start here with, I'm just going to call him Lava from now on. He looks pretty good. It's the standard base body. Not too much going on there. Have some nice paint here for the hooves. Some nice silver paint for the hands. If we take a closer look here at the head sculpt, it's kind of giving me Megatron from Cyberworld vibes, if I'm being honest. Some nice pink there for the eyes, nice silver for the face. You have the horns here on the side, a little bit of silver in here on the inner thigh. And then again, you have the hooves painted down here for the feet. All in all, looking pretty good. Now, the head does not move. You have a hinge here for the shoulder, as well as a rotation. You have a swivel right above the elbow. The elbow can actually bend 180 degrees. It can go the full way in both directions. The forearms are one solid piece. You have a waist swivel. You have a ball joint here in the hip, so you can go forward, back, and all the way out to the side, which is nice. You have a thigh swivel here, a little limited, but still a little bit of movement there. You have a knee there, and then technically you do have another joint here in kind of the mid-shin, but that's more for the transformation. And then there's nothing in the ankle. This is one solid piece here. Now, of course, he does have some accessories to be fully decked out. So we'll start first with the bull head. Again, you have the pink there for the eyes. The horns are done in a separate colored plastic of light gray. And then you have the little connector here on the side. You want to flip this down until it is just the one peg. And then we'll peg that into the side of his shoulder here, like so. Then we have to give him his element, which is the fire element. And we will connect that there. Now, because he is an animal, not a dinosaur, he will have the element kind of pointing to the right. And then he also has his axe, which is simple, but I think looks good. And then this has that kind of keyhole peg. So you have to line that up in the fist correctly, otherwise it won't peg in. And then there you go. Lava is fully decked out. Now, I think it's kind of funny that he comes with Nemesis Prime because being, one of the animal camp, he would be technically a good guy, a Cybertron, an Autobot, whatever term you want to use. But he's coming with Nemesis Prime, which I think is kind of funny. So he does kind of look like a bad guy, but I think he technically is supposed to be a good guy because of the kind of animal that he is. But either way, he looks cool. We'll stand him here off to the side if he wants to cooperate. I think with the axe, he gets a little front heavy, so I just have to kind of lean him back a little bit here. Get him to stand on his feet. There we go. Do you want to cooperate now? Perfect. All right, so now we have Nemesis Prime. Again, I think the head sculpt is pretty good. Nice red there for the eyes and silver for the face. Some nice red paint here for the windows. Little pops of teal throughout, which look really nice. Silver down here on the shins. You can open up his matrix chamber. That's where you would connect the elements for the combination. Some nice metallic purple there with the silver. I think that looks really sharp. Some more of that red. And then over here on the back, you just have kind of the front of the vehicle mode, which has some nice blue for the headlights and silver there for the grille. Otherwise, not really a ton of paint here on the back. He is mostly black, light gray, a little bit of teal and silver and red. But overall, I think he looks cool. Now, of course, he does have some accessories as well. So he has these two pieces, which we can actually put on the back here to kind of help out as additional heels. So these will attach right there, and that does help him stand a little bit. He also has his axe, which has some nice silver there for the blade. And then he's got the additional headpiece, which has some nice silver and teal. And for the kind of base mode, this is going to attach to the back of the axe here. There is a little grip kind of right here. And then you can see the grip there on the inside, so you just have to line that up. And that will pop on there for storage. And then this has that same kind of keyhole peg that you just have to pop into his hand. So here are the two fully decked out, looking good. Articulation-wise, for Prime, you do have a ball joint in the head, so you can actually look up pretty decently. Look down a little bit, spin side to side. Can't really tilt side to side all that much. You have a swivel and a hinge in the shoulder. You have a bicep swivel. You have an elbow joint there. Of course, this also can separate for the connection with the other figures. Forearm, hand, that's all one solid piece, so there is no wrist movement or anything like that. You have a swivel up here in kind of the mid-diaphragm area. Hips can kick all the way forward. They can kick all the way back as long as you lift this piece up out of the way. And then they can kick pretty much out to the side. The wheel's going to hit into the body a little bit there, but pretty good range of motion there out to the side. You have a 90-degree bend there at the knee. You can kind of move this a little bit. You can see how there's like a little tab here, and there's a little tab connector. So when you kind of bring this up, it will kind of like push down and catch. It doesn't really like keep it in place, but when you try to come up, it kind of hits into it a little bit, so you might have to move this up, and then you can push it back down. It's up to you if you want to leave them out all the time. The range of motion there is, as you can see, very minimal. So it's not really, they're not huge knee pads or anything like that. Now, unfortunately, at the knee is where it ends. There's nothing, there's no ankle tilt, there's no movement in the ankle whatsoever. Although you do have some nice silver there for the wheel wells, or I guess the hubcaps, I should say. Wheel well would be in here. But anyway, he looks pretty good. Nice articulation. If we move Lava out of the way and we bring in the first release of Prime, you can see that they are exactly the same, just painted differently in different colored plastic. But there are really no molding differences or anything. They are exactly the same. Push this back down. So, just a straight repaint. But they both look pretty cool. I still think I prefer regular Optimus. I think just the red and the blue just pop a little bit more, but colors on this guy are pretty good as well. All right, so first up for Nemesis Prime's transformation into the truck mode, we're going to go ahead and remove the axe, and we will take this piece off of the axe and just put them to the side for now. We also have to come down here and remove these heel pieces, which can be a little tricky because they really connect very snugly, but you just have to kind of wiggle them out and hopefully not bend the plastic. There we go. All right, so once we've removed all of that, we are going to start by taking a hold of this gray piece here in the back and kind of lifting it up. And as we do that, the head will fall into the chest. So just make sure that has clearance, and that will come all the way up like so. At that point, we can kind of move the arms a little bit out to the side. That will allow us to rotate at that joint I talked about, kind of in the mid-diaphragm. You can see that kind of creates the whole front of the cab there. At this point, you can bring the legs up like this, and then just sandwich the two legs back here together. You want to leave them back a little bit, though, because you'll have to get some room later after we connect this. So the arms are going to come in, and you can see how there's like a large slit right there, and there's a flat tab right there. So this is going to come in and connect. You can bend this at the elbow and snap that in there. And then this will come around and close in. All right, I guess I should leave these all the way down. They're in my way. And you're just going to fold that in like that. So once again, this is going to come in. This flat tab is going to tab in right there. So this goes in like that. And then you want to bend at the elbow. And then you can see that there's kind of a tab inside here. And that kind of fits into this area. So as we bring this in, it just kind of loosely keeps that in place. And then you have this piece, which is going to push against. And you can see that there is a tiny little tab right there, which is going to sit in that indent. So when you close this up, make sure that it's going on the hand indent on both sides, and that kind of keeps that all together. And then you can see that there are two tabs. I don't know how well. There you go. You can see them there, right there and there. And those will tab into these two spots here on the leg. So make sure, and this is the knee pads being dumb again. There we go. Once we get past that, and then that comes up, and then that will snugly keep them in place. And that's it. That is Nemesis Prime in the truck mode. Not the best vehicle mode ever, but it does the job. Gets the point across. Rolls pretty well. Let me zoom in here and adjust the camera. So yeah, we can bring these pieces back in, so the extra heel pieces will sit in here on the top of the shoulders and kind of cover up some of the shoulder joints a little bit in the vehicle mode. And then you're supposed to take the helmet, and you can see how it has these two pegs on the back, and they'll peg into the back of the head inside. So that just pops on there. You don't have to. If you don't like the look of that, you can easily leave it off. But then you can also take the axe, and you can see how it has a flat tab right there. That will tab in right here. So you can store that on the side of the vehicle mode. Again, you don't have to put any of these additional pieces on if you like the look of it without them. You absolutely can leave them off. It's just for storage for everything. So that is Nemesis Prime in the cab mode. All right, so getting into Lavamulator's transformation, we're going to go ahead and just remove all of his accessories. So take the axe out of his hand, remove the elemental piece, and remove the bullhead. At this point, you can go ahead and flip the connector to the 2 connector and put that off to the side. You're going to basically transform this the way you transform like every one of these guys, because they all pretty much share the same body. You're going to start by rocking the back, then pop the head in, and then bring this back forward. Then you're going to rotate these up, and then they will come together and combined over the head. Then you will straighten these out and rotate these so that the hooves face upward, like so. Then we are going to rotate him at the waist 180. Then we are going to snap together these sections here. You can see the pegs in the peg slot there. It's going to connect together like so. At this point, you can bring this down like this, and then use the knee joint to bring these up. And then you are going to use that extra joint there to then bring these back down. Like that. We are going to take the axe, and you can see how there's a tab there. That's going to tab on here. And that will kind of fill in that area, but also give him his tail. Now you can leave it straight out if you want. If you want to kind of bend it at like a 45-degree angle, you can do that. We'll take the element and peg it in here. So I guess technically you could have left that where it was, because that's where it started out. And then we're going to take the bullhead and connect it into these 2 spots right here. And there is Lavamulator in his bull mode. Looks pretty good. We talked about the bullhead already, but I still think that's pretty good. I like the little hooves. I think that works. You have the little tail there. Not the best of all the animals that they have to offer, but honestly not too bad. And it's cool to see a new animal added to the collection. Articulation wise, I guess technically you can move the legs because you could move them before. The head doesn't really do anything. Technically, you could spin this if you wanted to because it's the waist articulation, and you could move these a little bit and move the tail. There's really not much articulation, I'll be honest with you, but he looks pretty cool. I like him. Moving on to transforming him into an arm or a leg, we're going to once again remove all of his accessories. And then this is pretty much ready to go. We are going to rotate him 180 degrees at the waist, like we're going back to robot mode. We are going to fold these back. These are going to fold back down like this. And then this time you can see that there's these little slits here on the bottom of the feet. They are going to line up with these little pegs here on the body. And so you'll just bring this in and do that. And that is pretty much it. That is the base. So if he's an arm, you would connect him here, and you can see the hand kind of molded in, like if this is the fingers of a fist, and this is the thumb, and then you would have a little spot there to hold an accessory. If he's a leg, you just kind of connect him like this, and you would take the bull head and connect that here onto the front, and that's how he would kind of be a leg, facing this way. So let's go ahead, let's bring in Nemesis Prime and try out a few of these connections. So firstly, for arm mode, we're going to remove the axe, and this piece will come off the back of the axe. You can actually go ahead and disconnect the arm right above the elbow, like so. You can open up the leg. This will actually pop open and allow you to store this inside. You can see that there are 2 pegs there, and you're just going to peg that in right here. And then you can close that up. Really convenient storage there. We're going to take Lava, and then we're going to connect him onto the top here, like so. We are going to take the bull head and connect that to Nemesis Prime's shoulder, like so. We are going to pop this section open and then connect the element into the little peg hole provided. And then we are going to take the helmet and peg this into the back of Nemesis Prime's head, and that just kind of bolsters the helmet there for the combination, makes him a little bit bigger. And then if you still want to utilize these weapons, you can peg them into the hands, and you can give this guy the tinier axe if you want. You can switch if you want to. I mean, the connections are exactly the same. So if you want to put the large axe in this hand, you can. If you want to do it like this, just to show you that you can switch these. You can put that in there. Put this one over here. It doesn't matter. They're all compatible. So there's your Nemesis Prime with his giant bull arm, which I think is pretty cool. I like the look of that. Nice connector there. And conversely, if you wanted to connect Lavamulator as a leg, we would take the bull head and combine it here onto the front, and then put this to the side for the moment. Hydrophant is going to be helping us out today because we can't have him stand on just one leg. We are going to disconnect. You can kind of lift this up and disconnect his legs. So you can see that the connection point is the same there. So we're going to disconnect this. And they can be a little tricky, but there we go. So now we are going to take what was the leg, turn it this way, push this all the way down, and you can see how this is going to form kind of a big shoe. We're going to have to disconnect this piece, otherwise he will not sit flat. So do that on both sides here. And then you're actually going to have to switch them. So if this was the right leg, it will now become the left shoe. And then we would just connect these guys on here like so. And connect him on here like so. And then connect these onto the top. And sometimes these are really finicky to connect, but I promise they will go on there. Sometimes it's just hard to kind of grab a hold of a good spot to push the connection on there. There we go. And now we have Nemesis Prime with 2 new legs. And of course, we have to add their element pieces up here, like so. Let me see if I can zoom out here a little bit. There we go. And then if you want, we can give him their 2 axe weapons. Or you can use the larger axe. You have a lot of axe options. But yeah, that is the connection for the legs. I think this is a really fun set. I mean, did I necessarily need a Nemesis Prime repaint of Optimus? Probably not, but they know how to get me. They packed in an exclusive figure with him, so that made me need it. I love these little guys. I think this is such a fun play pattern. I've been having such a blast collecting this line, and if there's going to be a new character, a new animal that I didn't have, well, then I was going to have to pick up this 2-pack. So they know how to get me, and it worked. But I'm happy to have them. I mean, it's a nice repaint. It's a solid mold. It gives you another robot to do different combinations with. We have a decent amount of these little guys at this point, so you have enough that you could probably do full combinations with all the different robots. Well, at this point, we do have 5, so maybe not full combos, but you could certainly mix and match and make all kinds of different patterns and everything. So it's always fun to have another robot to connect them to. And like I said, it's a solid mold. It's a good repaint. Definitely not something I would have requested, but I am happy to have it. So I think that's cool. This guy's great. Like I said, make as many of these as you possibly can. I don't know if this line is dead at this point, but if it is, I had a blast, and I'm really happy they did it. It was a fun little summer line, and if they want to keep it going, I'll buy as many of these little guys as they want to make, but I have a feeling that it may have run its course in their eyes, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes. But yeah, definitely a fun pack. If you can find it, I definitely recommend picking it up. I got mine from HLJ. I think it was also available on Amazon Japan. I don't think it's still on HLJ, but it may be still on Amazon Japan. So if you're looking for this set, Amazon Japan is probably where I would check first. After that, I really don't know. I was really kind of surprised to see that most of the sites that do Transformers stuff, BBTS, TF Source, those kinds of places, they really didn't carry this line, which I thought was really strange. So I don't know what that's about. I'm also kind of bummed that I don't know how this guy exists in the fiction, because Dakar region locked like the last couple episodes of the show. I watched like the first 7 or 8, and I'm like, okay, it's not the best story, but I'm having fun with it. And then it just disappeared. And I found out later someone told me they region locked them, which is dumb. I don't know why you do that kind of stuff, but yeah, so now I guess I won't get to find out the end of the story, so that's kind of a bummer. But in any case, I still think this is a fun set. I definitely think it's worth checking out. If you've been having fun with this line, I think this is a nice set to add to the collection. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.